Damn bats in the catacombs. In this video, we will see the historic undergrounds of Poland's capital. We'll touch on their unique features and even ride a skateboard inside the collector. As the warm summer evening comes to an end, I'm already heading to the address I need. I need to wait until someone opens the door to the inner courtyard. Yes, I'm inside. We move on. With a camera in hand, it's hard not to draw attention from the windows, but looks like we got away with it. Nobody noticed. Adventures await. Fine. Come in. According to insider info, this is the starting line of today's journey. It may seem like an ordinary basement, yet it hides its own secrets, and our task is to uncover them. We're at the right turn. Basically, one of our subscribers made duplicate keys to this whole basement. And now we're climbing into the exit of the so-called hard cable collector. Let's go here. Somewhere around here, there should be an entrance, a narrow crawl space choked with debris hidden in one of these rooms. 6-1, here it is. According to rules made up by no one, I begin the filtration. The keys fit. The subscriber didn't lie. All right, we're inside. Closing the door behind us. Here's the crawl through. And now, this is only the beginning. It's going to get even worse. Is there a chance things get tougher for me? I've spent my entire life researching underground infrastructure. This is my main line of work, but besides solo forays, me and Super Seuss often threw underground parties with unique scenarios. We introduced the maximum number of people to our atmosphere, so it can't get worse. It can only get better. The dirtier and deeper, the more interesting it is for me. On the hardest path, you won't meet opponents except your own fears. I'm already covered in local dust and rust. I think I'll lie here for a couple more hours. I could blend in with the local background, as long as I don't move. That's the kind of raids we do. Pretty solid vibe, right? That's the kind of adventures and raids we're always on. All of this is for you, friends. And now we've ended up in a cable pipe collector. Damn, there's so many pipes and all sorts of valve wheels here. Imagine, each of us was responsible for something of our own. You twist one of these, and Aunt Masha from apartment 17 loses her hot water. Anyway, let's keep moving. This tunnel stretches far ahead, but there are side branches. Here's branch number 7. Let's go into one of them and see what's at the end. We moved out from under the residential area into the local industrial zone. Right now, we're in one of the factory's cable pipe collectors, or CPC. Somewhere here, there should be an exit into one of the protective structures of this plant. That's exactly what I'm searching for on camera. Some additional rooms. Yeah, that's an exit to the surface. We're not interested in that. We keep moving forward. The corridors twist and writhe as much as possible. Look, now number 5. These are some underground labyrinths, damn it. That way, and that way. All right, let's go straight ahead. How to navigate here? Very simple. Just remember what you've already passed. That's the secret of underground topography. Basically, this place is pretty pointless, so we head back to the main gallery. The sought-after object isn't here, but it's part of the path, part of the story. Each excursion drags you through the location, throwing unexpected obstacles right in your way at the worst moment. That's the salt and sugar of such dives. Moving along these networks, you're amazed at the hidden beauty. Yet who is it beautiful for? For me. My cognitive biases make me see it this way. Beautiful. Who would find this beautiful? Just look at it. We are inside the realm of concrete and rust. But we need to move on, because I'm here for the first time, and I don't know the rules of this underground system, nor who else we might encounter here. I thought it was a dead rat, but it's a chunk of fiberglass, damn. Check out this pipe. It's some prehistoric corrugated thing, clearly made of some tough, ancient metal. Its shape keeps it from bursting. It dampens pressure and vibrations. That's the thrill, spotting something unusual. The unique always hides beyond the ordinary. There are no adventures we have where no obstacle appears along the way, like this metal door with a chain. Here, everything is quite primitive, and in principle, it's solvable, right on the spot. On the sign, it's written in Polish that the key is with the guard, and we need to move on. You need to protect your head in places like this. These are serious men's adventures. We're coming out to the underground technical floors beneath one of the workshops. Somewhere here the light should switch on. Wait. When you crawl for such a long time, almost half a lifetime, only then do you begin to understand where the beauty and the real thrill of these adventures lies. It's in finding your own special place where you become the king because you discovered it. It's yours. You shape it all with your friends who share this same passion with you. That's the joy of finding yourself. That's the joy. That's probably the coolest thing of all. I recommend everyone to live through this. They'll let each decide how to build their own destiny. Sign. Daewoo. Looks like we're under some kind of car factory. I don't understand this. Write in the comments what it means. Every crawl I make into such situations is not just a gamble, but full-scale special operations that demand proper preparation. I could never have organized regular excursions to unconventional places in the past without a serious attitude to the work. You take on huge responsibility not only for yourself, but for dozens of other people. And to make it both impressive and safe, you need passion for it and confidence in yourself. All right. Now we're entering basically the same kind of passage, but narrower. We head that way. Here the main thing is to keep balance. Yes, you need to watch your step. The floors here are not exactly pleasant. Such tunnels constantly intertwine with each other, connecting not only different structures by type and purpose, but also the historical features of all these parts. Construction and architecture, brick and concrete, earth and metal, drainage and cable system. And somewhere in the endless darkness, a curious handheld flashlight glows, slicing through the web of the unknown. We are pioneers of reality before us, and we invite you to witness it together with us. Underground, everything is different. The space rings with iron and drizzles with old dampness before your face. Every step echoes with a rumble, and in the air, fragments of fiberglass float like the shed skin of this underground beast. I feel the rusty breath of this tunnel. Suddenly, a turn to the right appears. Here we are, friends. The atmosphere has changed. Now we need to be quieter and more careful. It seems there are no motion sensors, though I wonder what company made this door. As I understand, we didn't end up in a basement, but in some kind of bomb shelter. Let's take a look around here to see what it really is. From endless arteries, you have entered the inner organ of this underground organism, and we begin to study this rudiment. Here, look, a newspaper from 1994, and on the backside, the police are escorting a crime boss through the prison to his cell. It becomes cool and uncomfortable from such hints. Goosebumps run over the skin. Underground, the constant temperature is about 15 degrees, but right now, well then, time to get dressed because it's really starting to feel a little fresh. We move deeper into the bunker. These are only its surroundings with empty rooms. The most interesting part lies ahead. Yes, in this bomb shelter, one could definitely outlast the end of the world. Let's go see what's here. So far, nothing supernatural. But with each dangerous step, we come ever closer to something unique. Shut the hermetic doors. This is the standard bar lock system. As you rotate the wheel, the locking piece engages with the frame, sealing the door completely. That's why it's called a hermetic door. Let's proceed deeper. I speak in a whisper because we are standing right beneath the main staircase, the one that leads upward. And here there are lamps with motion sensors. It feels very uncomfortable. The senses are sharpened. Attention is focused. Now let's show this room. This is the pump room. This very room kept the bomb shelter dry if there was ever flooding. Look, here is the logbook of visits. The last entry was today. All right, let's move on. They keep excellent watch over this place. If the inspection is dated today, we must be even more careful. In the corridor, the most dangerous thing is the sound of footsteps heard across the entire structure because of the tiny debris on the floor. We enter another door, and here is this room. This is the ventilation room. Here the air supply for the entire facility was maintained. The air supply units were spinning. They spun and pushed the air inside. But now the engines have been stolen, and they no longer drive anything except dread. Therefore, we continue the exploration. I check the corridor, and I enter the next room. Here begins the visual digger's delight. And this is the most atmospheric place of the shelter, the civil defense storage. Here lie Polish gas masks, third size. Sure, we can touch the items, look at them, even take photos. Yet all these little curiosities carry no real value when compared to the films we create. The most meaningful support you can give is to subscribe to sponsorship, press like, and click the thank you button under this video. That kind of action truly helps the project move forward and keeps our work possible. We move forward into the room opposite. Yes, once in childhood, I simply dreamed of getting into a place like this. Check out this gas mask. I see something like this for the very first time in my life. There are many interesting and unique things here. They are of course similar to Soviet ones, but still different. They stood as silent witnesses of history, waiting for their moment. But they were met only by Project URBANX. It looks creepy, as if it were this. It never lived to see its apocalypse. A bunch of things was made, just so I could be here. Underground, a whole pile of equipment. Overshows protective suits. Helmet of masks. Filters, devices, boxes with all sorts of goods. Special clothing for civil defense workers. Various rags, documents, posters, and cabinets. All of this just rots here. The fate of such protective structures, the same all over the world, as I noticed. In good condition, the minority. They watch only over those in bomb shelters that bring money. And for the others, the end is the same, and it is time for us to move on, before we are noticed. I know one clever way out from here. So according to my data, somewhere here, there is a passage to the lower level into the stormwater collector. It is such a system of underground communications interweaving with each other. Take please. And now we exit from a bomb shelter and go exactly there. I love to speak in metaphors. Movement life. And when you fully realize this statement, you understand how important it is simply to go forward, not only for the Rokakad, but also in life. I am sincerely glad that a whole heap of people has joined the ranks of urban explorers. Thanks to my efforts, we tried to instill in our excursionists the most correct aesthetic views and to cultivate in them a love for the atmosphere and vibe of each adventure wherever it may take place today. These are already adult diggers and stalkers. Perhaps they even already do not remember their beginning, but I am proud of them. There is no greater happiness than when a pupil surpasses his teacher. Even from protective structures like this, there are special exits into such technical rooms. This is a specialized room located under the shelter, which adjoint local, drainage adit system. Here stand metal sluice gates, blocking a powerful flow of water. You need to be more careful. Look. Yes, in this egg. Main danger of such systems, it is gases. With a gas analyzer I have not yet acquired, but there is the old good grandfatherly method. It is a lighter. If the flame burns, this means that there is oxygen here, but this is an explosive practice. Therefore, I do not know how well it works. Well, at least I now know that there is no gas here. And we go further. I understand how this looks, but I do not go in blind. I know where I am and what this system is. Researchers have been going here for a long time, and the place is well studied. I do not have a gas analyzer yet, but I'm sure that there are no dangerous mixtures here either. And the lighter is just an old method. The meaning is purely symbolic and not practical. Not a check, but as a gesture or reminder that underground, one must not lose caution. Such the most grandfatherly method in mines and sewage collectors. It has killed more than a dozen researchers because of an explosion. This is a psychosomatic technique. That is, the lighter essentially is not the best practice, but it gives me a definite assurance that there is oxygen which I can breathe and not the gas, because of which many diggers die. Diggers die even where a lighter burns. Here you cannot rely on luck, only on preparation, a sober head, and respect for the underground. Do not repeat my mistakes. I risk myself so that you're safe. Here the collector turns into brick. Old, more older, and this here new part. And this is all already history. Let's go. Just like that, suddenly we got into the next world. To a new level of this movie, I feel here already like at home. In Warsaw, in one underground space, several systems differing by their purpose connect at once. In one, flows stormwater, collector rainwater. In the second flows an underground river, and in the third flows sewage. And here this is allowed at the state level. I am from such cities as Kharkiv and Kiev, and there, with us, at the official level, there existed a certain inspection which dealt with searching historical undergrounds for illegal dumps, not clean holes. And here this is allowed. In this foul stream, there is nothing to do. Diggers do not explore such sewage ditches, such pipes. But we do not crawl through such stuff. It is located there somewhere below. And we crawl only through those tunnels which are stormwater. On the walls remain traces, chalk silhouettes of people drawn in the dark. They seem to remind of those who lived underground who passed here long. Before us, these tunnels are not just a network of drainage channels. Almost 100 years ago, they were the heart of the city. Rebels moved along them, laying the path to freedom in darkness and fear. And today, we have powerful flashlights and spare 18,650 batteries with us. Therefore, we move confidently but cautiously, with respect to the undergrounds. Yes, right here under us flows another level of an underground river. The sound of water, over time of staying in such underground communications, turns into a real hallucinogen. After several hours of such an adventure, one can easily begin to hear auditory hallucinations. Somewhere the laughter of a child, somewhere a girl cries. This is confirmed by personal experience. So far, there are no hallucinations. This is good. It means we are in our right mind. Once there was such a situation, he was leading us. Old school in Kharkiv, along the underground river along the stormwater system. And at some point, he says, "Quickly, rookies, behind me, otherwise today you will not receive a prize." I think what prize he means. And he meant directly the metro. And did not lie, he led us into the metro. And did not lie indeed. Led us to the metro. It was my first climb into the metro. Deserved, did everything. But even today, we will try to deserve it. Experience with the local historical undergrounds is unique in its own way. I have not seen such anywhere. Whole labyrinths of red brick. Tunnels go off in all directions. At first you cannot figure out where to look. Each climb in is like new. The arched vault leads us further and further. Our curiosity cannot be stopped. It paves the way for us. Yes, we came into the very real kingdom of branches. Here turns out one collector. Over there another rise. And right under us here lies yet a third. Hell yeah. Through these adventures, we visited probably the most popular locations of underground Warsaw. This brick vault is the classic of the local undergrounds. This crossroads is located right in the very center of the city under the so-called president's house. Therefore, in essence, we really are in the most unique places, all in order to show this to you. The underground route continues. To the exit, we still have somehow to get. Further, it will be faster, much faster. Many diggers walking through such communications always dream of some kind of four-wheeled skateboard rollers or similar stuff to ride here, exactly with the breeze. And we have such a thing. Well, did you take it? I can't see because of the light. Here. So now I will try to fulfill the dream of most urban explorers. I rush through this tunnel like a multi-ton metro train that has broken off the brakes, flying into the belly of the underground. The skateboard under my feet vibrates. Walls flicker. The wind roars. The concrete trembles like a drum. Pure thrill. The main thing is not to get smeared against the wall. This is not just some trick. This is that very life on full throttle that you recall later by the fire. Through the veins of the city on a skateboard. Funny, insane. And at the same time, damn real. Sometimes unique ideas come to mind as if the city itself whispers them through the storm drains. And one of them became reality. A dream born underground, broke through to the surface and rushes together with me. Yes, in the life of a boy, the hardest and the most dangerous rolled on further. Sometimes thoughts come like a flash from another dimension, and if you do not catch it, do not embody it, it will burn away without a trace. But today, you became witness to how a dream born in darkness exploded with light. And so it always was. Every idea stood side by side with the spirit of heroism and fearlessness. Social frames and norms automatically fade, and there are many like us, all over the world and almost in every city. We move toward the hatch I need that leads to the surface. Once these collectors escorted insurgents, and today they escort us together. Yes, such places quickly drain strength. The path seems short, but the conditions are really tough. Physical preparation here is far from the last thing. Yes, in such places it is better not to raise your head too high, because here the red brick will quickly teach me manners. And in first place, safety. So now begins my favorite part. Exactly for this life prepared me. I crawl and feel as if this tunnel watches, evaluates whether to let me further or not. They're on the surface. In the city, you will not find such wild excursions in broad daylight. And this is the main thrill of these adventures. I feel like a mole. Ladies and gentlemen, to your attention, the birth of a digger. There it is. All that crap stay behind. Carefully we crawl through. These catacombs test not only me, but also my gear. One must be resourceful. Something is wrong with this flashlight. Actually, now I will try to understand what the trouble is. These little gear tricks constantly let you down. I prepared properly for the outing. I realized what the problem is. There's not enough space for the new batteries. It must be fixed quickly, so as not to be left without light at all. You need to make some kind of metal spacer.
Металла.
So that it transfers electricity between. Two batteries, that is the issue. I took a piece from a tin can. And now we will try to solve this matter. Survival, the ability to adapt, is one of the most important skills. Do not underestimate it. Let's try to tighten it. You need to adapt quickly and flexibly to arising problems. See?
Oh.
That's it. You need to press it to the very end. There. Very soon, this ceiling will collapse on someone's head. Let's hope not ours. The vaults leave much to be desired. You can see that once someone tried here to restore or reinforce something. Perhaps there were excavations, but today everything here is abandoned, and only the local insects block our path. But we're not afraid of them and push on. Every crawl into underground communications is accompanied by the spirit of adventure. You walk through the tunnel, and suddenly a fork. And where to go? Left or right? Very often, it is exactly the digger's intuition that saves. I constantly rely on it. In every underground has its own entrance. And accordingly, from every underground there is its own exit, and here we come out to the surface and leave behind us all these historical undergrounds. They survived wars of empires, and perhaps will survive us too. We are only guests in their eternal darkness. The past will always be nearby. It is simply hidden a little deeper than people are used to looking. And here below, in the very veins of the city, remain kilometers of darkness, brick concrete rust, all that preserves its memory. We saw the past. We walked in the footsteps of long-gone eras, and now we come out to the light, into another form of darkness, only inverted. Maybe we simply feel this world differently. Maybe this is our truth, but when the hatch closes behind, this is far from farewell. It is a sign that beneath us still exists the vast cardiovascular system of the metropolis, and only a few choose to study this city from inside. This is the URBANX project,